As we're joined from the hub city, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, by the owner and manager of Play It Again Sports there on Hardy Street in Hattiesburg, my friend Jason Townsend. We're in the management and entrepreneurship career cluster. This is our Carl's career readiness class here. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School, and we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County schools, Madison Central, Rosa Scott, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, and the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So thank you for fitting this in your schedule today.
Yeah, man, I enjoy it. I remember doing it last year as well.
Yeah, and it was a great time. And I just think you have such a cool story and such a an interesting entrepreneurial journey as well. But just give us a little background. Brandon High School, and you went to Southern Miss where we met, and you did not major in anything that would lead you to be an owner of a sporting goods store in college.
No, not at all. Um, Graduated from Brandon High School. I was in the band and doing all the childhood things. You have to fundraise a lot of stuff, right? Everybody's having a fundraise for any event that they're in, and
Oh
um,
yeah.
I came to love actually fundraising and like making money and knowing that I could sell, quote from Tommy Boy, you could sell ketchup popsicles to ladies in white gloves. For anybody that hasn't watched Tommy Boy, it's a good one if you want to own a business.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I agree.
it's a comedy. But with that, I went to Heinz for 2 years, followed the money because band basically paid me to go there. I loved my years at Heinz and then transferred to Southern. When I went to Southern, majored in microbiology, got a master's degree in environmental micro, and worked in the lab for a little bit. But my parents and my sister and her husband Junior kind of came up to me and they're like, "Hey, we want to start a family business. We want to think about doing a restaurant." And I was like, "Count me out. I love eating so much. I don't want to work in a restaurant to be around food all the time because then I wouldn't want to eat it." And I worked at a Mazzio's Pizza in high school for years, and um, there's certain industries that people love working in. I know a lot of people that love working in the food industry, but that was one thing that I loved too much. Um, so my parents and Leslie and Junior, they came up and I was like, "Look, I think a Play It Again Sports store in Hattiesburg would do great." I worked at the one in Jackson during my college years and my last year in high school, and I loved it. Just the idea of somebody bringing in something that's used to sell for cash or trade, knowing that your kids are growing out of stuff. Just the idea of that, I'm like, that's amazing. And then you meet so many people through that, and you watch these kids grow up. Like even when I was in high school and college, I saw these little kids come in, and then 3 or 4 years later I'm like, wow, look how big you've gotten. I remember sizing you up for your t-ball and now you're playing coach pitch. um, and then at Southern, I enjoyed my years there. I had great professors, um, and I thought that I wanted to be a doctor. Everybody wants, you set your goal early in life. I said I want to be a pediatrician. Followed that route. My brick wall was biochemistry too. And when I hit biochemistry too, Sabine Heinhorst was the professor, which she is now. Um, she was tough. And I learned that if I was going to be smart enough or good enough, I had to get through that class. And it was so tough for me. I was kind of like, all right, if I can't get through it, what's my backup plan? Stuck with microbiology. Still, in my thought process, was I'm going to go to med school. My wife that I'm married to now, we met in high school. She thought she was marrying a doctor, but now she came across that she's marrying a retail store owner that basically works hours like a doctor at the beginning when you're owning your own business. Um, so we opened up Play It Again 18 years ago here in Hattiesburg. Um, it's been a great business. The day we signed the paperwork on opening this store, we dropped the "Hey, we're pregnant with our first kid" bomb on my parents and Leslie and Junior, who are also going into business together. And the first words out of my dad's mouth were, "There goes the business." So, like, I mean, I was like, I don't know why you mean it like that, but like, having a kid's not going to end us starting our business. But it's been 18 years of fun, family fun. I enjoy all my employees. It's been great.
Yeah, and you guys got some really cool commercials from when your kids were very small on YouTube, which we saw that WDAM there in Hattiesburg. aired. Now, the cool thing about being your type of entrepreneur, because I have so many kids say, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be my own boss. I can set my own rules. And in a way, you can. But you are a franchise owner, which means you own a franchise of Play It Again Sports. And Play It Again Sports is based in Minnesota. And I know you guys are the only location in Mississippi, I think pretty much in this part of the country.
Yeah.
But even though you
Um,
do have a lot of freedom as a business owner, you hire and fire who you want. You're the one that collects the profits, but you still have a set of rules that the franchise sets for you. But you're also provided with a lot of things. So I think franchise ownership isn't talked about enough because it could be a great pathway to entrepreneurship, and I know it's been great for you guys.
oh yeah, without the franchise of this store, it would have never been the volume that we are now. Um, Being in business as long as we are now, we've definitely changed some things on our business plan. Play It Again, based in Minnesota, they're a huge hockey store. You talk to any Play It Again in the nation, they're like, "Oh, I used to love buying my hockey gear there." Nobody around here plays hockey. They're all baseball, football, tennis, golf. So we've kind of had to change our business plan. But without their backbone, their structure, their buying power, that's the key to it. You have to make money, and with the franchise, you act as one ginormous store, right? So we're one of maybe 350 Play It Agains. We're the only one in Mississippi. There are no more in Louisiana. There's only one in Alabama. There's one in Arkansas, two in Tennessee, and only like two or three in Florida now. So they've kind of dwindled in the South, but a couple more have opened in the Midwest and the North and the West. But we act as one giant store when it comes to the Play It Again Sports name. So when you go and open up an account somewhere, they look at it as a whole number of a bunch of stores.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So it helps us with our buying power. There's a lot of times, and this happened when we first opened up. We contacted our Easton rep. If you play baseball, Easton and Rawlings are a huge company. We would not be able to be in business if we didn't sell the big brands. So our Eastern rep told us, he sat me and Junior down in a hotel room, and he said, "You guys are dumb. You'll never make it in Hattiesburg. Big Buck Sports has it on lockdown. We've done business for them forever." He was trying to be that old, but he didn't have a choice. He had to open us up because of corporate. And we were thankful for that. Well, then 7, 8 years later, between Big Buck Sports closing business, all his other mom and pop stores closing business, we became the number one Easton dealer in the South of hard goods storefront.
Wow.
And so our
Wow.
Easton rep loved us. I mean, he was a fan. He was out of Madison. We turned into best friends. He would come twice a year, take us to eat. He would take us to the coast and play golf with us. So you gotta, as a franchise, you have capability opening accounts and stuff, but you have to also earn the respect of your reps and then
Yeah.
still sell that product and know your product. You can't just say, "Oh, I got it for free," to be able to sell it and to just think it's going to sell itself. So,
Yeah, big time. And I'm glad you mentioned selling because that's a big pet peeve of mine. Because I don't care what business you go into as a high school student, no matter what your plan is. I'm all about giving kids options. Some of these kids want to go to college, some of them don't. Some of them want to do certain careers, some of them don't. Some of them may want to be entrepreneurs, whatever. I'm all about giving them the options to do whatever they want to do. However, you will never be able to convince me that you have to be a great salesperson and communicator in order to be successful in business. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you got to learn to sell something. Because even in your case, you guys may have all, you may be great on the books, you may carry all the top brands, but if you can't engage with customers when they come into your store, it's gonna be a tough road for you. So as these kids, and look, me and you about the same age, you have kids that are in high school, you see that the technology is taking over the kids so much to where they're all on their phones, and that's fine. But they lose that face-to-face interaction, that selling, that walking in the room and introducing yourself, saying, "Hey, here's what we have. Here's why you need to buy it. You're getting a great deal." So why are those sales skills so important in business, and especially if you want to be in business for yourself?
oh yeah, no, 100%. If you are not comfortable right there with your customer, they can smell it, they can sense it. Um, uh, you know, with ours buying used, right? Buying used equipment is tough. You people come in the store with a bat they've only had for a year, or not even maybe like a couple of months. They paid $300 for it. You're going to walk up to them and offer them $60, $70 for a $300 bat. they're going to be really mad. We teach our employees, we train them really well to go into that confrontation with, a good attitude, smile, try to tell them, well, it is used, it doesn't have a warranty to it. Be excellent, explain why it's worth what it is, and try to get that into their mindset, because then they're going to say, I'd rather throw it into a ditch. And then you laugh and say, oh, well, tell me where that ditch is. I'll go get it. And then I can still give you some money for it if you want, try to be good. We tell our people with exercise equipment, you have a couple comes in, look at a treadmill, and they are all around it. If you go up to them and don't know anything about that treadmill when they ask you questions, you're just wasting time. You're wasting their time. You're wasting your time. You need to we tell them, get on the equipment, try it out yourself. I know you're not playing on the equipment. I know you're learning about the equipment. The more you know about it, the more comfortable you are. The kids that play baseball, when they come apply here, they love baseball so much that they know more about the product, and they want to know, and they want to share that with the kids. The knowledge helps sell. If you come into the store and you're not even a golfer, you still go to the golf section and you ask these golfers questions, you learn from them, and then you turn around and be like, well, I've heard this club is great. Our used products, though, have a 10-day money back guarantee. So it's a lot easier to sell used because you can try it out. If you don't like it, you can turn it for a full refund. So that's another part of our business model with Play It Again franchises that allows us to save money and then see what the people want. If they don't want it, they can just bring it back.
Yeah, and before I get to their questions, that's what I want to talk about, because you talk about what the customer wants. And because, I think a big mistake a lot of entrepreneurs make, or people in business, period, is they just worry about what they like. They don't worry about what their customer likes, because at the end of the day, a business needs customers more than the customer needs the business. And like you said, Hattiesburg might be the biggest baseball hotspot in Mississippi, or maybe in the South, but at least in Mississippi. You guys are always dealing with soccer tournaments, tennis tournaments, baseball tournaments, and you guys have a print shop where you print jerseys for everybody from 3 and 4 year olds to adults. So that is a kind of a niche that you guys have found as a business owner, that you've like, look, we're going to sell this equipment, but we can also take care of this on, you're buying the equipment. What are you buying it for? We can do this for you at this price. So talk about that print shop, because you guys are just really struck something cool with business there in Hattiesburg.
Yeah, man. I can't think of a year that we got a bomb dropped on us. Dick's announced, hey, we're coming to Hattiesburg. We're like, oh, huge box store in Hattiesburg. And then within like a couple of weeks later, Academy Sports said, we're building the biggest Academy Sports. It's going to be a superstore in Hattiesburg. So we had a Dick's and Academies open up on
Wow.
us in 1 year. And in that year, we knew that we were going to have to change some things. We had been doing uniforms, a little bit of heat press, screen printing and stuff, but we knew that planning ahead was going to help us. We knew we were going to take a hit in hard goods and that we weren't going to sell as much. So we deducted our bookings for a year, 50% less, basically. We knew we weren't going to sell it, but if we bought it and we had it on our shelves, we are going to lose so much money that it might put us under. And so I took over the screen printing shop, and Junior, my brother-in-law, and Clay now run the front of the store. So what I do every day is I screen print, heat press, do embroidery. We do everything you want to size up and fit up your uniforms. Let me silence that. Uniforms for your kids, hats, jerseys. Then we order the pants, belts, socks. We bag them up. We give them to the teams to make it easy. We now,
Wow.
after all these years, we have it down as a science. When
Wow.
rec baseball comes in the spring, I have a lot of anxiety. It used to be a lot worse, but I've calmed down. Now. I used to never sleep. I would work till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I'd go home, sleep for a couple hours. I'd come back in at like 5 or 6, just to make sure things are always going to get done. Everything's in a rush. So over like a 3 to 4 week period, we would turn around about 6,500 kids' uniforms.
Yeah,
Um,
gum.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. We still do it. I have a lot of really good employees, and when it comes to that time, we know that it is time to buckle down, just keep going. People come in, my parents, even Junior and them, they're like, "How are you going to finish this in time?" I'm like, "Y'all don't ask me questions. Y'all need to get out, and we get it done. Just don't bug me. It's a science. It's mass chaos, but we get it done every year. But that part of our business has exploded. It has filtered into our hard goods. Now we're right back. Even with Dixon Academies in town, we know that we're the one-stop shop for everything. And people do uniforms, they need bags and helmets, and that goes right into our cells. So it's awesome. 18 years, we had 17 years of increased business.
Wow.
Even with COVID year, we were actually up the year of COVID, which was mind blowing to us. This past last year was the first year that we were actually down, but we were only down 2%.
Wow.
And this year we're catching it right back up. So it's been a blessing, and it's just working it with the family and the employees that we have has been great.
Yeah, and I'd even say for all the kids that want to go to school at Southern Miss that want to play intramurals, come see you guys to get their jerseys made. I know you guys do a great job. I know that's also
Yeah.
some folks that use you. And now, no, I do have to mention one thing 'cause I just think it's funny before I get to their questions is, you mentioned hockey up in Minnesota. You are the only person I have ever met in my life that can actually say they played minor league hockey. So, yeah, even though we had a team for just a short time here in Jackson with the Jackson Bandits, you literally dressed out and played minor league hockey with the Jackson Bandits. So I just think that's so cool. Just tell that story real quick.
Man, I loved it. I played the rec league there at the park on Lakeland Drive, and while I was in college at Hines, they had the Jackson Bandits. You're required to have a backup goalie on the bench. You always have the second goalie just in case. And the real goalie, their number one goalie, kept getting called up to the Minnesota Wild. Martin Tamburo. No, not
Yeah,
Martin Tamburo. Um, Kenny Carroll was getting called up, and Martin Tamburo was the backup goalie. And so they were like, we have to have a backup goalie. So they came to the house league and let us try out. And then after the tryout, they were like, hey, Jason, can you come to practice tomorrow? I'm like, heck yeah. And so like I skipped like a couple of classes in college. My mom wasn't really excited. But I got to practice with them for about a month. And then I got to go on a way trip with them to the Mobile Mystics Stadium, where there Martin was the goalie at that time. He tried to play a trick on me, and they called him the Water Boy. He was from Canada. The Mobile people did not like him, so they always chanted Water Boy and booed him all the time. And then we were tied 2-2 going into like the last 5 minutes of the game, and Martin went down in the crease, and everybody on the bench looked down at me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I might actually have to go into a semi-pro hockey game and close this out, and I will die. Like I was, I was just a kid, And Martin got up, skated to the bench, reached over, grabbed his water bottle, and looked at me and goes, "Did you pee your pants yet?" I was like, "Oh my gosh!" He's like, "Yeah, I'm just messing with you." And he hit me and went back out there and skated to the goal. Like it was a joke the whole time. I was like, "Dude, not cool." But one of the nights that we got to do it was Southern Miss night at home, and I got to keep my Southern Miss jersey, and
that's
that was
awesome.
the thing. And I've lost that jersey since then, and um, I've just always wanted to find that jersey. But it's a Southern Miss hockey jersey with my name on it.
That's awesome. And I remember when they did that. That was really cool. Well, I do have some questions from the students. And I like this one. This is Jeremiah Williamson. He's in ninth grade, one of our football players here at Belma Jackson. And he asked, what is the toughest thing about running a sporting goods store?
So toughest thing about running a sporting goods store is the for me, it's the uniform production time of it. Trying to get things done so fast and in time. So, like, if they have a baseball tournament coming up on Friday and I have to get it done, I have to make sure it's done. The worst part
Yeah.
is if something happens and things happen and it doesn't get done, which is not very often, I feel so bad about it. And to me, that's the worst part is feeling bad on something that I can't control. Like say UPS doesn't deliver the jerseys that I ordered that should have been there and something happens. So there's certain things like that. The other hard part is actually dealing with used, talking to those customers to make them feel comfortable. People that buy such an expensive item new that come to us, they come with such a negative attitude a lot of times that, especially with my younger employees, I have to watch them have that discussion with them and try to turn it into a comfortable situation. But there's a lot of customers that get so mad, or the customers you have to deal with sensitivity and you can't explode on them. There's a lot of things you can't do, like email. You can't be vocal to customers on certain things that you want to say, even though you always say the customer's right, right? People always say the customer's right. I say that sometimes, but I don't say that anymore. People people's attitudes when they come in, if they come in with a good attitude, I give them a good attitude back.
Yeah.
If they come in with a bad attitude, I still have to give them a good attitude back because it takes one negative comment on social
There
media
you go.
and it spreads like wildfire. So you just have to keep quiet, and whatever they're mad about, you have to absorb and work on it for the future. You can't tell them they're wrong, or you can't yell at them in the store to get out or anything like that. You just have to let them do their saying. Just last week, I had a lady on the phone that cussed out my manager up front on the phone, and it's all about a hat that was on back order. She cussed out my manager in the shop, who was she started crying, and then I got the phone. And when I got the phone, the lady said, "I heard them. I didn't cuss at them." And she said something. I hung up the phone on her. I didn't even give her the chance. I could not have said anything. If I would have said something, I would have said something wrong. So I hung up the phone. She called back. I let her say one word and I hung up the phone again. And I emailed the owner of that travel company. I said, "I just need you to know that this is what happened. She cussed out my employees. I know I'm going to say the wrong thing to her, but I need to talk to you one-on-one," which we did. And then we sorted it that way. But the lady was just, it's hard to talk to certain customers. But if I would have been on the phone with her, I was so mad of her cussing at my employees that if I would have said something, I was afraid that she would have taken that to the next level on social media or anywhere, any kind of out thing to get other people's opinions and say how bad of a business we were. It's just that you have to fight that. And it's getting more talking about social media and kids on their phones and stuff. It's getting worse, but sports aren't going away. Uniforms aren't going away. It's a great business. But and you want your kids to get off of phones and out in the field playing something. And so
Yeah.
that's what our sporting goods store's for.
Yeah, and it's a great, for people that are athletes and your playing days in, it's a great field to get into to stay close to the
Oh
game.
yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're
I got
playing sport and you love it.
yeah, I got time for two more. This
Uh-huh.
is Cameron Nettles. He's in 10th grade, one of our football players here also, and he asked, if I wanted to be an entrepreneur, what would you tell someone that was trying to be one?
Okay. So find what you love, right? And then, I mean, you could even use AI for this. Say, I live in the Jackson area. What would be a great business to open? Right. I've had actually a couple of people, somebody that lives in the Memphis area. Uh, he didn't know what he wanted to do. He wanted to do a business, right? And then it came up, they said a mobile doggy grooming service. And he was like, "That's amazing." So he bought a van, bought the franchise of a certain company that he did and franchise it. And then now I think he has 3 or 4 trucks and they drive around to people's houses and business and they in apartments and they groom the dogs out there in the parking lot and make a lot of money. So there's so many opportunities when it comes to entrepreneurship and franchises. I would highly recommend a franchise to get you started. Say if your franchise 10 years long, and then in 10 years, hey, do I want to do a new business or do I want to extend our franchise? Which we just extended ours. We're coming up on 20 years. We'll have to decide again what we're going to do. But with a franchise, you pay a franchise fee, but it's worth it because if you didn't, it'd be hard to start from scratch.
Yeah, and a great example of that is our friend Jason Hudson, who for years was a franchise owner of Edward Jones Investments
Uh-huh.
there in Petal. He made a name for himself, and he went independent. Now owns Hudson Wealth Management there in Hattiesburg. So that's a great example of starting out with a franchise and then going independent.
Yep.
I got one more, and this is Landria Wilder. She's our student council president, senior here at Velma Jackson, and she asked, "What have you learned about the industry since you became an owner?"
With the sporting good industry, every year, technology, just like in the car industry, you're going to come up with these companies are coming up with new technology. You have to stay ahead of the game. You have to stay on top. The new products that come out, you have to be knowledgeable about. Because say you bought a bat for $400 last year. Why would you need to buy a new bat? It's just because it's hotter. But you don't just say that. You got to know a little bit more about it, a little bit about the walls. These people are investing into their kids with this money for sports. And over 18 years, every year you see that. These T-ballers are growing up all the way to high school. When you get to high school, every year you're needing either a glove or a bat. With the industry, the industry's changing with products, but you got to stay on top of it. And when you do that, you'll be successful. Um, the attitudes of people, they aren't changing. You once if an older people come in, there's a certain way you talk to them. The younger crowd comes in, there's a certain way you acknowledge and speak to them about how you're buying the product. So you adapt, and if you adapt well and learn from the product and learn from the people and learn from your mistakes, you'll have a successful business.
Absolutely. Well, we're almost out of time. And as always, we thank you so much for joining us. But a couple things before we go. First of all, playedagainstsportshattiesburg.com is you guys' website.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are right there on Hardy Street, right off I-59 in Hattiesburg. You cannot miss you guys' location right there next to Walk-Ons. So
Yep.
if anybody's in the Hattiesburg area, any Southern, anybody goes to Southern Miss, first of all, if they're in Southern Miss, you would love to help out a Southern Miss student looking for some part-time work. And also, if any, playing any murals down there, you need some jerseys made. You guys are the place to go.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I appreciate the time and good luck to all the students out there, especially the seniors. I have a senior this year. It's kind of mind blowing. And then I have a sophomore and a seventh grader. And um, I know that right now Noah's, looking for college, where you're going to go to college. So I know those seniors are out there looking for that and what they want to do in the future. It's time to make decisions.
I love it. All right. So again, thank you so much for joining us, my man, Jason Townsend, owner of Played Against Sports in Hattiesburg. Thank you so much for joining us today, buddy.
Thanks, Greg. We'll see you, man.
See ya.